This is news breaking from the American Heart Association. We are announcing it for the first time right here.
We're back now with a new warning today from the American Heart Association.
De los Estados Unidos, la doctora Regina Benjamin, miembro directivo del American Heart Association.
Case studies indicating COVID may lead to heart attacks. Joining me right now is Dr. Mitchell Elkin. He's president of the American Heart Association.
So have you joined the Boss Family workouts recently with Twitch and Allison? I mean, we love those two from So You Think You Can Dance, Ellen, and Dancing with the Stars. But now they have teamed up with the American Heart Association.
It's Live with Kelly and Ryan.
Years ago, the American Heart Association revised their out-of-hospital CPR protocol, and it's called hands-only CPR.
She's now sharing her story as part of the American Heart Association's Don't Die of Doubt campaign.
This is all about the American Heart Association's Healthy Bond for Life.
Late today, the American Heart Association putting out an advisory to pediatricians. As sales of marijuana soared during the pandemic, a new warning from the American Heart Association.
Tonight, the American Heart Association sounding the alarm.
A new report from the American Heart Association.
Heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women here in the U.S. and worldwide. So when the American Heart Association puts out a scientific statement, people tend to pay attention.
Y es importante comunicar y American Heart Association quiere comunicar.
Según la Asociación Americana del Corazón, hay 3 factores que contribuyen a padecer del COVID complicado o fatal.
And joining me is Dr. Mariel Jessup, the American Heart Association's top medical officer.
Dr. Michelle Albert is president of American Black Cardiologists. She's working with the American Heart Association to research COVID in Black women.
Dr. Larry Mittenall is an American Heart Association volunteer.
KITV4's Maleko McDonald tonight talks with the CEO of the American Heart Association about surprise medical bills.
This is why I love the American Heart Association. They step up in real time to address a need.
Good afternoon and welcome to the American Heart Association's North Houston Go Red for Women event. I'm Jonathan Martinez from KPRC Channel 2 News, and I'm proud to serve as your MC for the day. Our goal today is for you to help us break the silence about the devastating impact heart disease is having on our families, our communities, and most importantly, on women. You know, Go Red for Women is more than just a name. We are here because women make a difference. They always have, and they certainly always will. During today's program, we'll speak about the needs of our community and how the American Heart Association is making a difference in the lives of so many. Today, you'll have the opportunity to make a gift to support their life-saving mission as well. The American Heart Association in North Houston is working in communities to make a difference in the lives of the local women we know and we certainly love. To make it easy, we'll share this information a couple of times throughout the program. Just grab your phone and text the message North Houston GR, no spaces, to the number 41444. You'll immediately receive a text response with a link to a secure website where you can quickly complete your gift. We will also place a link to donate right here in the chat box that you see. On the screen right now throughout the event, you will see interactive gift thermometer as well. It'll be popping up where we'll recognize the progress being made towards our fundraising goal. We also have an online auction for you sponsored by Waste Connections that is open right now. In fact, there's some pretty amazing packages and experiences like a wine class for 20 over at Total Wine and More, injections by Dr. Guy, and wine with Darcy Mengoya that you do not want to miss. So be sure to go ahead and place your bids right now. We're told the auction closes today, May the 21st at 4 p.m. Central Time. So check out that chat box to get that link for the auction and get your bids in. You know, our hope is that you will take the information that you learned today and share it with the people that you know and love. One easy way to do that is by sharing the message right now by posting about the event using the hashtag MOCOGoRed or by using the hashtag NWHCGoRed. In fact, let's go ahead and get things started right now by sharing a selfie, and I will do that right now. As we flip it around, hoping that that's my good side there. I think that's the good side there. I want to say thank you to our selfie sponsor, Woodforest National Bank, as well. Be sure to get your pictures in throughout the day. Continue to share those pictures, videos, and what you learn by using those special hashtags that I just mentioned. You can also engage with others by using the chat box function on the screen that you see right there. So be sure to type away. In fact, go ahead and let us know where you're watching from. We are certainly so glad that you're with us today. Now it is our time for the very first poll question of the day that you see there on your screen. It's sponsored by Texas Children's Hospital, The Woodlands. So what does FAST stand for? Is it A, face, arm, speech, time? Is it B, fight, action, saves time? Or is it C, face, arm, signal, teach? Hoping that you guessed A, because that is the correct answer. Great job, everyone. It is so important to know the meaning of FAST and how to take action. It can certainly help to save a life. You know, there are many sponsors, supporters, and volunteers who have helped to make this event possible, but we want to say a very special thank you and special recognition today to one incredible, fearless woman who has chaired this campaign in the past and volunteered with the American Heart Association for 30 years. She really needs no introduction, but it is my pleasure to invite Darcy Mengoya to our virtual stage.
Good afternoon. I'm Darcy Mengoya, a longtime volunteer with the American Heart Association. I got involved in the mission many years ago when my boss assigned me to chair the Heart Walk because he didn't want to. We all on the committee realized very quickly how important the research and education that the American Heart does, because one of our committee's members' brother had some kind of heart issue and needed a pacemaker, and the pacemaker that he received was a result of American Heart Association research. Talk about burning the mission into our souls and our minds. That was amazing. As I lived and learned more about the mission, I kept seeing relationships to my family. My daughter had a stress-related cardiovascular condition. My dad died of a heart attack. My mom's had strokes. It became apparent to me that many families are touched by cardiovascular disease and stroke, and the American Heart Association is really the leader in the research and education. And the reason that I love Go Red so much is its piece is so important in educating women about the leading cause of death in our city, our county, our state, even our nation, and it's cardiovascular disease and stroke. And sometimes we're not even aware of that. So the education piece that we get today that will make a big difference, and most cardiovascular disease issues, in fact 80%, can be relieved, reduced, managed with taking proactive action such as changing your diet, working with your doctor on medications, and exercising. So we're going to learn a lot today and be really heart healthy. I want to make sure that we thank the people that worked on our committee and made sure that our event was beautiful. Their names are up on the screen now. It's our executive leadership team, and we are so thankful and grateful for them. I also want to thank our sponsors. Our local sponsors are so important. I'd like to start with U.S. Anesthesia Partners, and you'll see these names and their levels on your screen. CHI St. Luke's The Woodlands, CHI St. Luke's Vintage, The Vintage, Memorial Hermann, Waste Connections, Kristen and Bradley Kaufman, and my husband Bob and me. And I also want to give heartfelt thanks to our national sponsor who's done an amazing job, CVS Health.
Hi, I'm Nancy Brown, Chief Executive Officer of the American Heart Association. I am honored to recognize and celebrate Darcy Mingoya, who this year achieved an extraordinary milestone, her 30th anniversary as a volunteer and supporter of the American Heart Association. Congratulations and thank you, Darcy. Darcy has been a relentless volunteer and advocate for heart health with the American Heart Association since 1990, when she co-chaired our first ever Heart Walk in Cy-Fair. Since then, she has served as chair of each of our campaigns and in a variety of key leadership positions on our local boards. As a passionate proponent of women's heart health, Darcy has been instrumental to our Go Red for Women movement since its inception, serving as chair of our Circle of Red and luncheon numerous times over her tenure. Darcy's commitment as a Circle of Red member has inspired countless others to join her, and I know many of you are here today because of Darcy. Through Darcy's leadership and personal support, she has helped advance our mission through changes to policy, transforming systems of care, and improving the health of our communities. In every way, Darcy has truly embodied our mission to be a relentless force for a world of longer, healthier lives. I am grateful to celebrate Darcy's significant contributions as the honoree of this year's Go Red for Women campaign. Thank you, Darcy, for your continued support and belief in the work of the American Heart Association. We are so grateful to have you leading the team.
You know, volunteers like you help to advance our mission today and each and every day. So if you'd like to honor Darcy today and show your appreciation for her 30 years of service, why don't you go ahead and consider giving a $30 gift in her name? That'd be pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and check in with our thermometer and our progress toward our fundraising goal. Remember, you can text to give by texting North Houston GR, no spaces, to 41444. It's looking pretty good, truly amazing. And how about this? A special thank you to Darcy and Bob Mingoya, Janet Wong, and Ron Mullins, along with Beth Eaton. We so appreciate your support and engagement. Okay, on to our next poll, which is brought to you by Schulte Building Systems, Inc. Be sure to type your answer right there in the chat box. Now we'd like to take a moment to recognize the dynamic duos and trios who make up the mother-daughter of Impact teams. These ladies are passionate about the mission of the American Heart Association and have been relentless in engaging their networks, raising funds, and impacting the community, all for good. Thank you to U.S. Anesthesia Partners for sponsoring this initiative and giving a voice to all generations. Certainly such an incredible and inspiring group there. Now it's time for a brain break sponsored by Memorial Hermann Health System. You know, practicing mindfulness and meditation may help you manage stress and even high blood pressure and can even lower your risk of heart disease.
All right, grab a chair or ottoman, a poof, or is it puff? Doesn't matter. Something stable you can dip with. All right, 1 dip, 2, 3, 4, nice, 5, starting to feel it? Because I am. And I'm just an animation. Burning. Go ahead. We earned it.
Thank you, Memorial Hermann, for that fantastic brain break. Now I'd like to recognize another passionate group of individuals. The Circle of Red is made up of more than 4,300 people across America who are taking a stand against cardiovascular disease in women by personally investing in the mission of the American Heart Association. Right now, you have the opportunity to join this very exclusive society. You'll see a poll question on your screen. Go ahead and type 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat box right now. Someone from the AHA will follow up with you following the event. Thank you so much for the Circle of Red. Each year, we highlight an incredible survivor whose life has been greatly affected by the mission and research of the American Heart Association. And this year, it's Reagan Holt. Here's her story, sponsored by CHI St. Luke's of Woodlands and CHI St. Luke's The Vintage.
I'm Hannah, and I'm Reagan's mom.
I'm Chris, and I'm Reagan's dad.
We met when we were in college.
First date did not go well.
It did not.
8 years later, she's still with me, so I'll take it.
We got married, and everything was just seemingly perfect.
Yeah.
9
months later, Reagan was born, so...
It was an uneventful pregnancy. Everything went perfectly. She was born healthy, and then we took her home. And my background, I used to work in a cardiac ICU. And I kept telling Chris, she doesn't look right. Something's wrong with her. And he was like, okay, I trust you. If you think something's wrong, we'll take her in. And we went and saw our pediatrician, and we were told she's healthy, she's fine. Nothing's wrong with her. And I said, look, I know you think that she's fine, but something's telling me something's wrong. I think she's in heart failure. He said, okay. If it will make you feel better, if it will help you sleep at night, I'll do a chest x-ray on her. Not 20 minutes after that x-ray was complete did he call me and say, you were right, something is wrong. I said, well, what exactly is wrong with her? And he said, well, she has 2 holes in her heart, possibly 3. And he said, if you don't operate soon, she may not make it.
I don't think anything can really prepare you for that news. The day of the surgery I think that was the worst day of my life up to that point. She wasn't going to be able to celebrate her first Halloween, so we got her a Wonder Woman costume and brought her into the hospital in her Wonder Woman shirt. And she was smiling and happy, and we were in the pre-op room, and when they took her from us on the bed back to the OR suite, that just crushed us both because we didn't know if we were ever going to see her alive again after that surgery. So we're a little over 2 years post-surgery, and she's almost 2.5 now, and she's
perfect.
Energizer Bunny, just all over the place, with her scar just straight down where they opened her chest, but then right below that she had a chest tube, and it kind of makes an exclamation point on her chest, so our joke was Reagan. Like, so she lives up to that. She's just everything that we could have ever hoped for, and now she just has a sweet scar and a cool story to tell.
There's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You'd never know. Nobody would ever know.
Yeah.
Life was good. And then June 1st happened, and it felt like we were starting all over again. A friend had texted me and said, let's go on a walk tomorrow morning with our daughters. Packed up Reagan, and as we were walking, I remember telling my friend that I didn't really feel well. Everything started to get kind of dark, and then it got really dark. The only thing I do remember was the EMTs took me to the hospital that I work at as a nurse. I was hearing a physician that I knew. I could hear his voice, and I could hear him saying, this is serious. And I heard somebody ask the doctor, well, how serious is this? And the doctor said, well, at this point, it's life and death. And I thought, oh my gosh, poor patient, that's not good. And then in like a second, it all came together that I was that patient. They were talking about me. It was just so surreal because my mind was thinking, this isn't me, this isn't happening to me. Like, I'm healthy, I'm 28 years old, I'm not having a stroke, nothing is wrong with me. But it was happening to me.
The doctor told me how serious it was and the words "flight for life," and that's when everything got really real, and trying to hold it together for her, and then there comes a point where you just can't hold it together anymore.
The pivotal moment for us was a doctor came in and said, they're probably going to do surgery tomorrow morning. And we're like, what kind of surgery? And he said, well, brain surgery. Again, I don't think there's anything that really prepares you for that moment. Ago, we could have lost our daughter to congenital heart defects. And 6 months ago, you could have lost me to stroke. We were just deeply moved at how much our family alone has utilized the advancements and the work of the American Heart Association. And had it not been for those advancements and those surgeries, neither Reagan or I would be here right now.
How do you repay those people? You can't. You can just say thank you, and yeah, just thank you for all the research and all the people that helped save both Reagan and Hannah's lives.
A huge thank you to the Holt family for taking part. We need your help now to make sure more lives like Hannah's and Reagan's can also be saved. So go ahead and take out your phones and text North Houston GR to 41444 to make a life-saving donation. You can also check the chat box for a link to make a donation as well. You see the thermometer right now on your screen. Let's keep those donations rolling in. A huge thank you to Sue Nowak, Debbie Price, and Bruce Bentley for supporting the mission of the American Heart Association. Big shout out to them. Your donation could be an investment in the next research advancement in heart disease, or it could go towards hands-only CPR training as well. As you're making your donations, I want to personally thank each and every one of you for helping survivors like the Holt family live longer and healthier lives. We'll check in on that thermometer at the end of our program, but now it's time for a quick break, sponsored by U.S. Anesthesia Partners.
Hey, Go Red for Women. My name is Haley Hansen, and I am a professional soccer player for the Houston Dash. A little bit about me. I grew up in Kansas City, Kansas, and I went on to play college soccer at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. In 2018, after receiving my degree, I was drafted in the first round to play for the Houston Dash. To live in the city and represent the city has been the greatest honor. I love being a Houstonian, and I love playing the game that I am passionate about for a living. This game has taken me all across the world, and I was fortunate enough in 2019 to play for a team over in Melbourne, Australia for a spell. And when I came back to the States in 2020, COVID hit. So it kind of goes without saying that completely turned my world upside down, as I know it did all of yours. And it was very difficult to cope with the reality that I was not going to be able to train with my teammates and coaches on a daily basis like I'm so used to. This definitely took a toll on my mental health, and I think that there is a perception of elite level athletes that we just have this intrinsic motivation to stay active, to succeed at our sport at all costs. And while this is true, that doesn't mean that it's not difficult. And so I truly believe that everyone has the capacity to live an active life. And so these are just some of the ways that I was able to cope with that difficult and stressful time during COVID. The first thing that was critical for my coping ability was to get outside. I am the first one to complain about the Houston heat. I think it is miserable at times, absolutely unbearable. But during that COVID spell, I was so fortunate to be able to step outside and sweat. even if it was just to go on a 30-minute walk with my dog or to go for a 30-minute bike ride, to just get out of my apartment was so critical and so helpful to overcome that stress. Secondly, I was thankful and blessed to have a roommate who was also my teammate. During that time, we held each other accountable. And I think that is so critical for all aspects of life, but especially if you are wanting to be more active, to just have an accountability partner, find a community that, allows that workout to be more fun or, just gets you through a difficult time. I know that when she was feeling less motivated or I was feeling less motivated, to just look at each other and see the other one getting their work done inspired the other to fulfill what they needed to fulfill. And finally, I have always said that activity is so habitual. So if you have not moved a lot in the last 5, 6, 7 days, that 8th day to say, no, I'm going to carve out time for myself to get my workout in and move my body is so critical. So just being intentional with your time and dedicating that little bit of your day to being active is so crucial and will get easier as you go. Thank you so much for letting me share a little bit about my experience and my story. I encourage you all to just take that first step.
That was truly awesome there. What great reminders to get outside and to stay active. I know I needed to hear that, and I'm pretty sure some of you all may have needed to hear that as well. Now it's my honor and pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, one of the first 5 female U.S. Secret Service special agents, Catherine Childers.
Hello, I'm Catherine Childers, coming to you from my cottage near the beach in Rockport, Texas, where I live just up the coast from Corpus Christi. I'm really thrilled to be with you today as we celebrate Go Red for Women. I find it sobering that today, 1 in 3 women will die of heart disease. Growing up, I thought only men got heart disease. My wonderful father would die of a heart attack at 72, about the age I am today. Later, my big brother suffered a heart attack while he was skiing. He survived because of advancements in research and cardiac care. We can change those stats as they apply to women. I joined the American Heart Association in the Circle of Red to be on the front line, where I call them the Rosie the Red Riveters of the war against heart disease, because it's killing us, our sisters and our mothers. But this isn't my first rodeo nor my first women's movement. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. So the question is, how did an ordinary girl like me get a job at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? Well, it started of all places when I grew up in the mountains of Colorado and Utah. When I was 7, I wanted to be a cowgirl, didn't we all? Actually, I wanted to be Annie Oakley. She was the sharp shooting star of the Buffalo Bill Wild West show. I had the horse, but there was one big problem with my big dream. I didn't know how to shoot my dad's old .22. Well, one day he agreed to teach me, and we took a can, kind of like this one. It's not the real can, but it's kind of become a good prop for me about what we did. He placed the can on a post. He showed me how to snug that old rifle into my shoulder and take aim. Then tears ran down my cheeks. I couldn't pull the trigger and told him, "I'm scared." He replied, "That's okay. Maybe you're not ready. You're little, and you're just a girl." Well, I thought those were fighting words. "No," I said, "I'm just scared." He patted me on the head and said, "Well then, just do it scared." And I really believe that that day, that can, and his advice directed the path of my life and changed it forever. During high school in Pueblo, Colorado, I was athletic. I was a competitive tennis player, skier, but you know what? There were no teams for girls in those days, except one, of all places, in the basement of the Centennial High School gym. There was a shooting range, home to the Centennial High girls rifle team. And what turned out, I was good at it and became one of the best shots in Colorado, even beating the boys. When I graduated from the University of Colorado in 1969, it was a really turbulent time, filled with frightening but exciting change. Then women had 3 options. You could teach, nursing was an option, or you could become a secretary. Although I got a degree in education, I just wasn't ready to settle down and teach third grade. I wanted to go to Washington, where the action was. Well, remarkably, I got a job on Capitol Hill working for a congressman from Colorado. Some months later, a girl from the office told me, we were sitting having lunch, and told me, "You won't believe this, but they're hiring female bodyguards to protect the president's daughter, Tricia." I thought, how do you get a job like that? She kind of laughed and she said, "Well, you first have to know how to shoot a gun." "I can do that," I said. "Oh, no, you can't." She couldn't believe I could. But as history proves, I was selected as one of the first 5 women to serve as special agent in the United States Secret Service after that conversation. Then the question came up, were we ready? We were ready, actually, but I wasn't sure the male agents were ready for us. We were the first. I also wondered if the world stage would be accepting of women. Would they take us seriously? Well, you be the judge. Let me read from an article that I kept from the Washington Post the day after we were sworn in. After that day, we thought they'd take us seriously, but here's what the article said. 5 young women took the oath of office today as special agents of the United States Secret Service and became the first of their sex to join the 106-year-old history of the agency. Get this, customarily they would be referred to as pretty, or at least attractive, since this is true of most young women successful in their careers. They didn't mention much else except that 3 were brunette, 1 a golden blonde, and the 5th had short, dark, frosted hair. No mention of trust and confidence, skills, or training. Little did that reporter know how easily we could have broken his pencil and taken him down with our thumbs. Well, after the swearing in, they handed me a big box with all my gear. A .357 Magnum service revolver, a badge, a commission book, handcuffs, and 6 extra rounds of ammunition. I can even remember today thinking back, I'm going to need a bigger purse. But the big thing was an American Express card in my own name, just like the one I carry today. In those days, ladies, girls didn't get credit unless their husband, father, or a brother signed on it. The bottom line, you couldn't just get credit yourself. So I put that card in my wallet. I put on my uniform. Now, you didn't know that agents had uniforms, but they certainly did, and you'll probably recognize it. Well, first there was on-the-job training. For almost a year, we learned jiu-jitsu, hand-to-hand combat, additional training with firearms, even though I was a pretty good shot, undercover investigation, and even how to drive the presidential limousine. My office was the White House, where I protected the president, the first family, his daughter, yes, and foreign heads of state like Israel's Prime Minister Golda Meir and the Princess of Spain. I was on duty during state dinners, official events, and South Grounds arrivals. Fascinating, yes. Scary, yes. I even got to sit next to the first man to walk on the moon, Neil Armstrong, at the Apollo 14 launch while protecting the visiting Princess of Spain. The remarkable part and the fun of it was that no day was ever the same. I'd rotate back and forth to undercover assignments, buying counterfeit money, bouncing across the country to protect political candidates. But there was nothing about my life that was predictable. And I liked it, but it was also the time that scared me. I was scared I might fail or die trying, but I didn't. Eventually, I was assigned to protect the children of the late President John F. Kennedy, John and Caroline, and traveled with them and their mother, former First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. I became known as the pistol-packing nanny, but that was okay. I kind of liked it. My instructions were to keep them alive and happy. Although tongue-in-cheek, I was also supposed to keep them from embarrassing the President of the United States or their mother. Haha, they were teenagers. Well, for 2 summers, I traveled to one of the most beautiful islands in the world, the Greek island of Skorpios, where they vacationed on board the yacht Christina. I also set out with Caroline for a summer camp in the mountains of Austria. That was a fun one. There I was an undercover ski instructor and a tennis coach. I even followed her on horseback during a fox hunt in England. That was a good story. Everything I learned as a kid growing up was coming into play, and that's probably why I got the job. That and the fact that I wasn't scared to try anything. I did it even if I was scared. The last time I saw Mrs. Onassis, I was in New York walking down the street on another assignment. She was coming the other way, walking in her classic style, quiet. She stopped and we talked for a moment. She was so gracious and asked me in her elegant, breathy voice what I'd been up to since leaving the protection of her children's detail. I told her and she replied, "Oh, Miss Clark, you live such an interesting life." And I can remember thinking to myself, it's so only relative, ma'am. Here's one of the most admired women in the world suggesting I lived an interesting life. Well, I did, and it was very kind of her to say. I loved my career, but then things changed, as they always do, and I left the Secret Service to marry a Texan. So that's my story, at least part of it. What's your story? How are you going to embrace the fear you face throughout your life, no matter what it is you're scared of? But let's talk about health, particularly when it comes to your health. The fact that you have joined this American Heart Association event today means you've taken the first step. And you're not just standing there shaking in your little cowgirl boots or cowboy boots. Go ahead, put your can on the post. My challenge to you is, if you're scared of whatever it is, embrace it. Embrace that fear and just do it scared. Put yourself first and make yourself a priority, especially when it comes to your heart. I hope you were encouraged by hearing my story. It was an honor to be with you today. And it's an honor to be part of the front lines of the Go Red for Women, joining together, changing history in the fight against heart disease and stroke. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Catherine. What an honor it was to hear your incredible story. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope you all enjoyed today's program as well. Every year I learned something new, and I'm hoping that you did as well. Now for one last brain break from Memorial Hermann Health System.
Wait. Put down your phone. This is just a little cool down stretch. Fine, you can use it like this. But before I go, I just wanted to say you're awesome. Believe it or not, you're about 90 seconds more active than you were before, and your heart totally noticed. Yeah, the workouts are done, but you don't have to be. Visit heart.org/makemoves to learn more about how you and your heart can keep moving.
Thank you so much for that. It is so important to keep the mind as well as the body healthy. Now let's go ahead and check in with our thermometer one last time. It is looking pretty good, but I know we can do better. All the more reason to be so incredibly proud of this community. Don't forget that our silent auction, sponsored by Waste Connections, closes this afternoon at 4 p.m. sharp. But before we go, we want to remind you we can't wait to see everyone next year at the Northwest Harris County Go Red for Women Luncheon on April the 22nd, 2022 over at the Weston Memorial City, and at the Montgomery County Go Red for Women Luncheon happening on May 20th, 2022 over at the Woodlands Conference Center as well. Thank you to everyone listed on the screen who has already committed their sponsorship for this big event. And speaking of, we also want to say a huge thank you for your support of the American Heart Association and for joining us today for this special event. I know it was a little different considering it was all virtual, but nevertheless, we had plenty of fun and raised plenty of money for a great cause. Congratulations. Today you took one step closer to ending heart disease for every woman everywhere.
Don't think about it, just move your body. Listen to